Welcome to this week's Leadership Hacks. Last week, I missed you guys. Sorry I wasn't there. I got tied up, like probably most of us, in the events at the Capitol and what was taking place. So I'm going to record 2 leadership hacks today to catch up for last week. The first one is about words. As leaders, we tend to talk more than others. I think you would agree with that. So today I want to talk about words, or more importantly, or specifically our words, and focus on how are we using our words. In this leadership hack, I'm going to focus on the power of our words. This came out of these thoughts and just watching and being on social media, how so many people are speaking, and not listening. So our words, what are we doing with our words? We need to realize that the power of the tongue is strong. And we need to realize that our words matter and what we say matters. So I got spurred to kind of talk about this last week by reading one of Carey Nieuwhof's blogs. And he was talking about words. And I want to give you a couple quotes that I think are just great and to maybe put into our leadership toolbox. He said this, that he realizes there are no neutral words in leadership. There are no neutral words in leadership. He also says everything shapes something. So that means our words shape things positively or negatively. It's easy to think that you are being neutral, he says, but you're not neutral. We're not neutral in any situation pretty much, especially about when we're speaking in words. He goes to point out that as leaders, our words are never neutral. Even when we think our words are neutral, they are not. In addition, we need to always keep in mind that everything we do or say shapes something, shapes organizations, shapes lives, shapes ourselves. That everything we do or say shapes our life, shapes our spirit, shapes who we are. James writes this in the New Testament. But no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless our Lord and Father, and with it we curse people who are made in the likeness of God. From the same mouth come blessings and cursing. He goes on to say, my brothers, these things ought not to be. All of us, whether we are leaders or not, struggle with what we say. We struggle at times. Are we saying the right thing or the wrong things? And many times we do both. We say words that build up and we say words that tear down. So we need to check or monitor or review our words carefully and regularly. So let's do that. Let's check, monitor, and review our words regularly to see if they are words that bless and build up, or are they words that tear down? Are they words that mislead? Even when we have to correct or dismiss a staff member, or in our conversations and interactions with those in our church or our community, we should frame our words to offer direction, kindness, hope, compassion. We're to frame them in those ways. James reminds us and challenges us to bridle or keep our words in check so that they may lift up and not tear down. Words are powerful, and as leaders, we have a greater responsibility to choose our words wisely. Use them to encourage, use them to build up, to lead, to guide. In Carey's podcast, our blog, he reminds us that there are no neutral words. He helps us to see that every word we say has power to shape something. This is such a powerful thought. I want us to grab a hold of that as a leadership principle. As leaders, pastors, volunteers, we tend to speak more because we're leading. We tend to speak more because of our professions and talk more because we're in leadership positions, which means what? We have a greater opportunity for building up and we have a greater opportunity for tearing down. We want to make sure that our words build up, realizing that they're not neutral, realizing that they will shape in people's lives and they'll help shape their opinions. A good leadership principle to put into practice daily is this: think before you speak. Think before we speak. I want to remind myself of that more and more. Think before I speak. Even in correction, our words should provide a pathway to build up and not tear down. Instead, we need to build up and not tear down. That's what our words are to do, build up. I have to confess, I do not always achieve that goal, but I endeavor to keep striving for it. And I encourage you to keep striving so that the majority of our words build up and not tear down, that we realize that we are forming things and people, we're shaping them because our words aren't neutral. And how are we shaping them? So let's endeavor and strive that our words would build up, would edify, would clarify, will provide positive ways for change and learning. And I want to remind myself often that I should use fewer words and not more. I want to remind myself often of that. Use fewer words so that I can be more clear and help build up. Thank you for being with us today. I'm going to go ahead and record another one so you could listen to it either today or tomorrow or whenever on our YouTube page. So blessings. Have a great rest of your afternoon.